So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And how is it that white mass murdering cop killers can get taken in alive, but black suspects, many times unarmed, many times running away from the police, maybe even with their hands up, can get killed? And that's what I'm going to go into in a moment. Of course, I'm Earthling, yada yada yada. I'm an ex-Army reservist. I have a couple of degrees. I got a full tuition scholarship a long time ago in order to get some of that. I've traveled quite a bit, more than I thought that I would, and I take care of my uncle with dementia. Now, the thing about it is, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and he echoed my feelings on a particular issue a little bit, which is that he was looking at one of these videos of a black person who ended up getting killed by the cops, I think in this case accidentally, and in his mind he thought, hey, well, if this person had not resisted, it would not have ended up in this situation. This is specifically the case where the cop thought she was firing a taser, but she was firing her gun and she killed the guy. And I haven't seen the specific video, but the overall sentiment of, hey, if they hadn't resisted, they probably wouldn't have gotten hurt or died, is something that I often have when I look at some of these videos. But seeing as it was my friend who was voicing that to me, I guess I was a little bit more objective, and I was able to see both his point, our shared point, which is that if you hadn't done anything, maybe things would have ended up in a better situation. Now, I don't always completely feel like that because, for one thing, so what if you resisted? You don't deserve to die, is one aspect of it. You could have resisted, you could have punched the cop in his face, whatever. Do you deserve a death sentence because of that? Probably not. The next issue is going to be that, hey, here it is that you are in a situation where you did resist, you did fight the cop. You probably, as a black person, are probably going to end up in a worse situation. Or much more likely to end up in a worse situation than if you were a black person. Because to begin with, if you were a white person, sorry, I don't know if I said it, you probably wouldn't even have gotten pulled over. And, there's a number of different reasons for that. One is that people, it's like Sesame Street. Which one doesn't belong? You're going to get more attention because people think that you don't belong if you might be in the wrong neighborhood. And number two, as a result of racism, you're going to end up having people who have bad attitudes towards you because they think that you are worth less. But, I'm kind of straying, I guess, from my main point, which is that if you hear about a standoff or about a shootout or about something along those lines, whether or not the person is taken into custody alive is really a good determiner of the race of that person. Because there was a guy who shot up the abortion clinic, killed a cop. He made it. He didn't even look injured. When I saw him at court, he did not even look like the cops had taken out their frustrations on him. There was recently, I think, maybe 2 people killed at I don't know if it was a mall or where it was, but that person was taken in without being killed. And the Unabomber, you can think of Timothy McVeigh, you could think of Dylan Roof, you could think of a whole bunch of people who are mass murderers and in many instances either shot or injured cops, and they still get taken in, they still stand trial, they still go through all of those steps, and There's so many instances where the police might be in a situation where they're supposedly trying to arrest a black suspect. And the black suspect might have a phone, they might have nothing. I think there's a guy from a long time ago when Giuliani was mayor of New York. And the guy stepped out of his building and he was immediately taken down in a hail of bullets. There was no question of whether or not he had a gun or anything. He was just dead. There was no shouts of police, nothing. Just dead. Or all these other people who get stopped in a police car, and like Fernando Castile, he tells the cop, hey, I have a gun. And the cop says, don't reach for it. And he said, I'm not. He and his girlfriend says, I'm not. They're dead. The cop goes on trial. He gets off. Even this guy, Michael Slager, who shot the guy who was running away from him, caught on video by a private citizen on their phone. And that guy got 2 hung juries. 2 juries where at least one person believed that the cop was justified in shooting a guy 30 feet away from him, running away from him in the back like 5 times, and then lying about it. The actual juror believed that the cop was justified in lying about what the suspect was doing at the time that he shot him. When you have video that contravenes exactly what the cop said twice. My friend, like I said, was talking about the fact that, maybe I didn't say it, but he was talking about the fact that it seemed like in one case where the black guy was resisting, that maybe people shouldn't have protested so much or rioted, or they shouldn't have gotten excited. And my point would be that it's not just the fact that, hey, you are resisting. It's the fact that that if you were not black, that you probably had a much less likelihood of ending up dead, or ending up beat up, or ending up smothered, or ending up in any of those situations. You have a much less likelihood of just having to endure undue suffering. Yes, you might be a felon. Yes, you may have a record. But do you have to die because of that? Probably not. It's probably not, justified. I feel like this particular piece I have messed up because I tried recording it a couple of times as a short, and I may have gotten confused about what I said or did not say. But overall, I think the idea is simple. Sometimes what you see in one of these videos is the tip of the iceberg in terms of, hey, if he were white, would this have ended up in a deadly force situation? Hey, if he were white, would he even have been stopped? Would guns have been drawn on him? Or her, for that matter? Hey, it's not necessarily just what you're seeing on the video. It's the fact that many other black people can relate to what they're seeing on the video many, many times over. And unfortunately, their white American counterpart or people in other countries just would never be able to appreciate the trauma of having guns pulled on you for really petty things. Anyway, I think that I'm going to stop here. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, subscribe if you ever see it, or any of the normal YouTube feedback stuff. Of course, keeping in mind, what would you like as feedback for your YouTube content. Peace.